when there's no man at home to upgrade your oldest son to man of the house status. He becomes your husband, not sexually, psychologically. When your oldest son becomes your husband, you're now powerless to hold him accountable because he's your equal. And when he becomes your equal, he might punish you more than you can ever punish him. And that's why we have an epidemic of boys ruling their mothers' lives. Because you have become his wife, not his mother. You have to resist the temptation to make that boy your partner, because you are destroying him when you do that. The other thing is we have to understand that none of our children asked to be here. And as a result of that, when the relationship does not work between you and your partner, baby mom, baby dad, husband, or wife, before one of you move out of that house, y'all have to sit down with them children side by side and say, mommy and daddy may be breaking up, but we want you to know that we still love y'all. Y'all are still number one in our lives. Sometimes things happen where adults have to walk out of each other's lives, but we're not walking out of yours. You will still see us side by side at the report card conference. You will still see us side by side at your birthday. You will still see us side by side at your graduation. And then you ask them, do y'all have any questions for us? In our community, we keep doing it wrong. And our children don't know that daddy's gone until they see mother with a new man. They don't know that mama's gone until they see their father with a new woman. We have to stop doing that, because there's nothing more traumatizing to a child than to know that they're losing one of their parents from the home. We've been doing some things wrong so long that we start thinking they're okay. So, 2014 is a very serious year. 2014 is a year for us to get organized, to move beyond the information into institutions, to move beyond the intellectual masturbation into organizational formation. The information is good. The documentaries are good. The books are good. The presentations are good, but they are not sufficient. If we want to move from point A to point B, we're going to have to roll up our sleeves, sacrifice our time, energy, money, and get it done. We are the smartest generation of Africans of all time. But yet, you are the most powerless of all time. You are the most self-hating of all time. You are the most divisive of all time, which is to say, the information means nothing if you don't put it into work. Amen. Some of us have fallen for the conclusion that before I do anything, I must know everything. You will never know everything. We have raised an entire generation of information junkies who are simply content with the knowledge, but have no know-how. So I understand that we're going to have to re-engineer the psyche of the African. And I also understand that I'm not going to be able to fix this racial problem with most of the minds we have now, because most of you have been toxified by public education, toxified by service to the military, toxified by the propaganda of white racist America and the social order. And although you have corrective information about your history and corrective information about your culture, you still function like a Negro, because the only thing you changed was the data, but you didn't change the program. So in order to change the program, I have to build schools for your children. They are not going to be charter schools, because charter schools are owned by the state. A charter school is an alternative public school, and I'm not giving the state that type of control over my institution where they can come down and shut me down whenever the hell they feel like it by making up lies like I mismanaged money or the test scores ain't high enough. I'm not giving them that authority over me. They're going to be independent. The Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey RBG Leadership Academy for Boys is going to be independent. The Anna Douglas and Amy Garvey RBG Leadership Academy for the Girls is going to be independent. For us, by us. And what are we going to teach the children? The first science is agricultural and agronomical science. We're going to teach them how to grow, how to live off the land Being able to feed yourself and feed your family is a revolutionary activity. You don't believe me? Study the African independence movements and you're going to find what? That the only way a lot of our brothers and sisters were successful fighting the European in Africa was that they were able to sustain their lives by living off of the land after the European cut off the food supply. So we have to teach the children how to test the soil, how to determine whether or not there's any nutritional content, and then how to grow their own crops. In my school, your child cannot graduate unless they can grow successfully 6 fruits and 6 vegetables. Not outside, but inside the house. You can have a garden inside the house if there is no yard. So that's going to be skill number 1. Skill number 2, we're going to teach them financial and economic science at the Douglas and Garvey Institute. Because as a race of people, we are economically illiterate. And we got to change that. We are bad with money. And finance is a science. Donald Trump went bankrupt and earned it all back in less than 10 years. Because he understood the science of money. Black America grosses over $1 trillion every year. And most are broke by the new year because you don't understand the science of money. We're going to teach it to your child. So guess what? By the time they finish the 9th grade, they'll be able to do their own taxes. By the time they finish the 10th grade, they have their own business plan. By the time they finish the 11th grade, they will have mastered the stock market, not only of New York, but of China, South Africa, and Nigeria. That's what we're going to do. We have been on our knees long enough. It is now time to stand. The only thing left for the ancestors and the Most High to help us is your participation. See, let me understand something. Explain real simply, regardless of your religion. The Creator does not work for you. The Creator works through you. So if you don't do, the Lord doesn't do for you. And the reason it looks like African people are not being paid attention to by the Most High is because you're not paying attention to yourself. The white man has convinced you that this is his world. The Chinese man has convinced you this is his world. The East Indian and the Arab has convinced you that this is your world, their world. And you're the oldest people on the planet, and you got the nerve to feel like you are a guest as opposed to an owner. We got to change the mindset, and we have to become unapologetically African everywhere we go, everything we think, everything that we do. No more apologizing for being African. No more apologizing. I am because I am. And then we're going to teach your child political and military science. We're going to teach the boys and girls how to shoot weapons. We're going to teach them how to stab, how to make fires without matches. We're not a violent people, and we're not looking for trouble, but we have to understand the times that we live in. Tomorrow is not promised. I would hate for your son or daughter to ever have to put harm against another person. But if your son is home, and his 9-year-old self is given the responsibility of protecting his mother and his newborn baby sister, and somebody comes through that front window, threatening the life of his mother and sister at 9 years old, I need him to go and get daddy's rifle, load it up, cock it the hell back, and handle his damn business. And we're going to teach him how to do that at the FDMG Academy. Slavery is over, and we're going to prove it. The next science we're going to teach them is dietary and nutritional science, because you can know everything about the nutritional benefits of eating healthy, but if you ain't motivated to do so, what good does it matter? So we're going to have to teach them the science of life and how to eat to live. Most of us eat because it makes us feel better, not because we like food. Most of us eat not because we're hungry, but because it gives us peace of mind. Because we suffer from racial depression and hopelessness more than any other people, we are addicted to the shopping mall and addicted to the food stores more. Your shopaholic, you being a shopaholic is related intimately to your belief that you cannot change your condition, and so shopping actually becomes an addiction for you. Read the reports on black spending habits. They say black people are the only people in the world who buy things just because they're there, not because they need them.